No reason.
You know what the fuck is going on, bro, like that.
Meg, I know you're probably never gonna talk to me again, but I generally want you to know I'm sorry from the bottom of my heart.
I'm thinking he's about to come over here and attack us.
Yeah, I don't know why he never made it up to the stand. That's like, isn't that weird?
Actual relationship with Tory Lanez, yes, that's my question.
And then she's shaking her head, probably like, oh God, why is this bitch asking me this question?
I didn't have a sexual relationship with Tory.
He saw a flash and believes it was coming from one of the girls. He was firing everywhere. They cannot conclude that Tory's DNA isn't on the gun. Day 3 of trial. And again, same thing. This is when the crap show starts. So we have witness number 5, Kelsey Harris. Again, Kelsey Harris was the one who was interested in Tory at the time. She's also Meg's former friend at this point, because they're not friends anymore, and then former assistant, because she's not working for Meg anymore. Some beef went down between all of them. Her lawyer is going to be Daniel Nardoni, told the judge that Kelsey wants to invoke her Fifth Amendment right against self-incrimination. And this is where a lot of people were like, wait, what? Self-incrimination? Why? Did you do something? Are you actually involved in the shooting? Like, what did you do? What happened? And a lot of people were really confused about this. However, the prosecutors, they did give her immunity. They gave her something called use immunity, not transactional immunity. From my understanding, use immunity is like, if she's going to testify, anything that she says won't incriminate her regarding this case, and they won't be able to charge her. However, they weren't able to give her transactional immunity, which is supposed to be broader. Yeah, we have a lot of threads to read for this one, because this is when, like, day 3 is when things start getting really interesting. If it wasn't already interesting, it got, like, really effing interesting, because people were like, wait a second, what happened? What's going on with Kelsey here? So we're going to start off with Megan's tweets. This is December 14. All right. By the way, I realized that comparing some of the vile garbage that passes for coverage of the Megan Thee Stallion shooting to tabloid coverage is an insult to what really is storied history of a real yet boundary-crossing tabloid reporting. Especially in the heyday of print, some of the tabloids were doing serious, albeit arguably unethical reporting. Some of the stuff that passes for coverage of the Tory Lanez trial is pure idiocy, produced by obviously malicious trash talkers. It's gross. The kids at my regular coffee shop this morning were shocked when I told them that it is indisputable that Meg was shot. That's how weird and wrong some of the coverage of this has been. So yeah, that's the reason why I was so interested in talking about this trial and like the case in general, because there was so much like misinformation that was floating out before the trial happened. And I get it, like people got a hold of like parts of the police report and didn't understand the context, or like they saw that like, you know, parts of the stories were changed and they thought like she was like straight up lying. But like, I don't know, when you like look at it as a whole and then you finally get an explanation for it, it's like, okay, I can see how this happened. I can see how that happened. And like, yeah, this is lying right here, but I can see why she lied about that and like X, Y, and Z and stuff like that, right? But I felt like that, like, I don't know, that really inflamed the internet, and they were just going after her for lying, and they were like, oh, she wasn't even shot to begin with. But anyways, so we have the prosecutors here. This is Alexander Bott. This is Kathy Ta on the way to the trial. Trial was on a 90-minute break following a tense moment with Kelsey Harris on the stand. Harris' lawyer told Judge Hereford this morning that Harris planned to invoke her Fifth Amendment right against self-incrimination. And people are like, wait, what? Why? What would she be self-incriminating on? But prosecutors granted her immunity, so she's testifying. But Kelsey really struggled when Deputy DA Kathy Ta asked her about Tory threatening to shoot her while they were in the Escalade before Megan exited and was shot. She did not want to answer. Kelsey even asked Judge Hereford, do I have to answer that? After Ta asked her, this is the prosecutor, after the prosecutor asked her what Tory said. The judge told her yes. Prosecutor asked, what did he do and what did he say? Kelsey answered, can I take my fifth? The judge allowed Kelsey to consult with her attorney, Daniel Nardoni, privately. They returned to the witness stand moments later, but Kelsey again didn't want to answer when the prosecutor asked about Tory threatening to shoot her. The criminal implications Kelsey is facing here are non-existent. The prosecutor said this morning they're not going to charge her with a crime, and that the question wasn't one that generally would draw incriminating statements by her, but she really did not want to answer. So people are confused. They're like, dude, Kelsey, the prosecutor said they ain't going to charge you. Just go out there and just tell your side of the story. Even if you did say something that, incriminated you, they're not going to charge you. You good. Back on the witness stand, Kelsey told the prosecutor, again, I want to answer my Fifth Amendment. She was told she had to answer, but as she stayed silent, the prosecutor asked her, Kelsey, why don't you want to answer that question? Kelsey answered, it's just, I don't know. Prosecutor asked Kelsey about having to testify in front of Tory. Maybe that bothered her, and whether that bothered her, and about her not wanting to be there. Kelsey said, I don't know. It don't bother me. I don't want to be here. Then Judge Hereford called the 90-minute break. I imagine we'll hear more about this when Kelsey's testimony resumes at 1:30. But if Tory hadn't said anything about shooting her, I think her reaction to the question would have been a lot different. Oh, because they're saying that maybe Tory threatened to shoot her in the car, and maybe Kelsey testifying in front of Tory, she feels like she's intimidated, I guess. Prosecutor Kathy had a record of previous interview with Kelsey in which she talked about Tory threatening to shoot her, and she asked if she could use it to try to refresh Kelsey's memory in the witness stand, but Kelsey's answers didn't legally allow for it. For typical recollection refreshments, the witness indicates to the lawyer that yes, if you show me that, my memory could be refreshed. But Kelsey didn't say anything like that to the prosecutor. She clearly just doesn't want to talk about it. So 2 months before this happened, in September, Kelsey, I don't know what to even call this, but Kelsey had she was being, interviewed, I guess. She was talking to the prosecutor and basically recounting everything that happened that night, right? And a lot of people thought it was weird that she was recounting this to the prosecutor without having an investigator, from the police, present. It was basically just Kelsey talking directly to the prosecutor. No investigator from the police side was present there at all. And so people were like, oh, that's kind of weird. Why was the prosecutor there just by themselves, right? And so at this point during the trial, I think, I guess we'll get to that in a couple tweets. So I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me back it up a little bit. Oh, we all linked it, but it didn't show. Are you guys in my Discord? Can you guys post it on my Discord? I think we'll hear more about what happened at Kylie Jenner's house when Lane's lawyer cross-examines Kelsey. But Kelsey did not clarify for the courtroom that was what was happening at Kylie's house that night was not a party. So it was just a few people hanging out. Kelsey steadfastly reminded the prosecutor that throughout the exam, so the prosecutor will call it a gathering instead of a party. So I wonder if she didn't want to call it a party because, again, this was a couple months, I don't know if it was during or after the lockdown. Maybe she didn't want to get shit for having a huge party at Kylie's house when they were supposed to be in quarantine or something. I don't remember in July. I feel like in July people were still kind of staying within their own household. Kelsey also recounted some of what happened at Kylie's house just before she left with Megan and Tory, and Megan was shot. Kelsey asked, I'm sorry, can I cuss? Prosecutor says, yes. Kelsey's she's B, we gotta get the F out of here. Kelsey testified, quoting Megan. Regarding Kelsey invoking the Fifth while being granted immunity, judges don't allow Fifth pleas, no question asked. Judge Hereford had to have discussed it this morning, but the way things work around LA Superior Court, any member of the public hoping to see that is out of luck. So we're not going to find out why she, wanted to plead the Fifth. I'm back on the 15th floor, lined up into the Judge Hereford's courtroom for more testifying from Kelsey Harris and Tory Lanez criminal trial. Tory's lawyer admits Megan was shot, but says Kelsey was the one who shot her, not Tory. We're on a break after slow testimony from Kelsey that could be described as combative if she wasn't also so stoic. She said that the prosecutors' things in her September interview with them. She said she told prosecutors things in her September interview with them that weren't true. So again, she had this interview with the prosecutors, and it seems like she had the whole story laid out, right? That said that Tory did it. Tory shot Megan. This happened. Tory came after me. Tory, said that he was going to give us $1 million if we didn't tell anyone. And what else was there? Oh, and then the Tory came after me and physically hurt me as well. But now, 2 months later in the trial, Kelsey's like, yeah, some of the stuff that I told you in the interview, they weren't true. Kelsey also testified that she is not the one who shot Megan. So if she testified that she is not the one that shot Megan, what is she covering up? what is it that she could have incriminated herself that she, I don't know, it's so weird, but this was mind-boggling to so many people. Tory is conferencing with his lawyers on a bench across from me in the hallway. His happy-go-lucky 5-year-old son cutely pranced over to him and got in his lap during discussion. Tory is now holding him in a bear hug-like position as he talks to the attorneys. Kelsey's testimony is going to take some time to really explain an article because her denials were also mixed with admissions that corroborated key details the prosecutor was trying to get in, such as Tory offering her $1 million. The judge ended trial early as the prosecutor pressed Kelsey about the aftermath of the shooting. Tory's apologetic phone call, her meeting with him, it wasn't going anywhere. Kelsey will be back for a continued direct examination at 10:30. So this whole thing with Kelsey Harris was a shit show, and Kelsey Harris was a witness for the prosecutors. Meg's former friend and assistant testified on Wednesday that she never saw Tory Lanez shooting a gun the night that Megan was shot in her feet. She told prosecutors trying to convict Lanez that she made a statement that weren't accurate in a recorded September interview partly played for the jury. Again, at this point, they weren't able to play the entire interview that Kelsey had with the prosecutors because, you know, Kelsey's on the stand. They can just ask her directly. Why defer to the video, right? But something's going to happen, I think, the next day where they're going to be able to play the entire interview, and it's not going to be good. It's not going to look good for Kelsey. Harris said there were some things that I said that wasn't truthful when the prosecutor played a clip from Harris's interview. Oh, we're talking about the clip here. So prosecutor played a clip from Harris's interview in which she sounds much more relaxed and candid. So we need to know what her demeanor is during the September interview. Like, did it look like she was being pressured? Was the prosecutors pushing too hard? Were they bullying her? On the witness stand, Harris appeared more animated when testifying about Megan, saying, "I'm neutral. I moved on with my life, but that Megan spread false rumors that I took hush money." Asked later what her falling out with Megan was about, Harris replied, that's a great question. I don't know. Ta asked it was because she believed that in Megan's public statement about the shooting, she didn't protect you enough. Kelsey says, yes. She was much more subdued when answering the questions about Lanez telling prosecutor about the night of the shooting. It was a blur. We were under influence. So I think this is the meat of it right here. So I think what happened was when the shooting had happened, when the public got a hold of it, Kelsey felt like her best friend, her former boss at the time, didn't protect her. And that not only did she not protect her and say that, oh, you know, Kelsey was the one that shot at her, but Megan also said that, oh, Kelsey took like hush money. So I think at this point, the reason why Kelsey's over it, she's like, I don't want to be here. I don't want to, you know, publicly, because she saw the shit that like Megan was getting online, all the hate and the vitriol. So I think at this point, I think she didn't want to be involved in it because she didn't want to get hate herself. She didn't want to be targeted. She didn't want to snitch. And at the same time, it's like, well, why would I even want to testify and face all the repercussions of it if I don't even care about Megan in the first place? You know, she didn't even protect me. She wasn't there for me. She's now saying that I took hush money, so F this person. So I think that's Kelsey's mindset. I think that's why she decided to went up on the stand and just kind of like have a I don't give a F attitude. I don't know, which I think is crap, but anyways, in a reluctant, sparsely worded testimony, Kelsey sporadically invoked her Fifth Amendment right against self-incrimination and described her presence in court as triggering for her. Kelsey texted Megan's manager moments after the gunfire was reported. "Help! Tory shot Meg, 911, in 3 messages. But Kelsey on Wednesday, she was only assuming so when she texted that. She never identified Tory as the gunman on the witness stand, and she rebuffed the prosecutor's attempt to press her into doing so. Kelsey says, I didn't see him, and I told you that. I didn't see him do that. I didn't see him do that. Her testimony didn't change after the prosecutor played recordings of her contrary September interview, including one in which she said she answered Tory's threat by saying, all right, if you shoot me, you shoot me. I guess it's my time to go. After discussion amongst the attorneys outside the jury's earshot, the judge reminded jurors that the recording of Harris' September interview with prosecutors was not evidence and was instead being used to refresh Kelsey's memory of what she said then. Kelsey's guarded answers to the prosecutor offered a first-hand account of a close friendship between the two women that was ripped apart after the shooting. Tory's arrest and subsequent felony indictment, and the fierce debate within the hip-hop industry about what happened and who was to blame. She and Megan had both been intimate with Tory, and Megan's initial story to the police officers who pulled them over at gunpoint was that she merely stepped on glass. She came forward after the shooting 4 days later about her claims about broken glass continue to fuel speculative and often vitriolic criticism. So Tory's lawyer, George Magdesian, however, isn't disputing that Megan was shot. He's saying that Kelsey did it. Before the jury entered the courtroom at 11:15 a.m. on Wednesday, the judge announced that he was allowing Kelsey to invoke her Fifth Amendment right against self-incrimination. Doing so requires him to determine that possible answers could in fact incriminate her. But no public record exists of Hereford's or the judge's reasoning regarding Kelsey. The prosecutors granted Kelsey immunity in exchange for her testimony, with the prosecutor saying they had no criminal investigation involving Kelsey. So maybe she's trying to muck up the trial, possibly. Citing the witness's immunity, the prosecutors pressed Kelsey about her reticence on the witness stand. At one point, the prosecutor needled Kelsey about whom she was trying to protect when she supposedly lied during the September interview and said that she saw Tory firing the gun. Prosecutors' agreement to give Kelsey immunity meant she couldn't plead the Fifth, but she asked to do so when the prosecutor asked if Lanez had threatened to shoot her. Do I have to answer that? Yes. Yes, ma'am. Can I take my Fifth? Again, I want to answer my Fifth Amendment. Prosecutor says you have to answer the question. The continued exchange captured the essence of approximately 2.5 hours of testimony stretched over 90 minutes and a 15-minute break, with the prosecutor becoming increasingly combative with Kelsey as she tried to avoid answering questions and denied that she once said were true. So again, it seems like during the September interview, she said that she saw Tory fire the gun. She said that Tory offered $1 million to the both of them in order to not say anything. Or sorry, not to say. I think she only said that he offered them $1 million. I don't know if she ever clarified that. And then also she said that what else was there? It was saw Tory with a gun, Tory mentioning the $1 million, and then she said that Tory had threatened to shoot her as well. The prosecutor asked, Kelsey, why didn't you want to answer the question? She said, it's just, I don't know. She added, I don't want to be here. And because of what Tory told her in the car, I don't know. It don't matter to me. I just don't want to be here. At this point, she just doesn't give a crap about any of this. The prosecutor also asked Kelsey about Tory offering her $1 million not to testify against him, saying, Kelsey, at some point in this case, did Tory try to bribe you? Kelsey says, before a pregnant, roughly 20-minute second pause. Not just me, she said. So not even directly. She's just saying, not just me. The prosecutor followed by asking Kelsey, who else did Tory try to bribe? That's when Kelsey said, I wouldn't say bribe. She said that Tory said it wasn't about not mentioning anything. No. And then she added, but it was mentioned. He mentioned $1 million. I guess it was about the case. So now she's trying to obfuscate a little bit, right? She's saying that the prosecutor's like, oh, did he bribe you? Well, not just me. It's she's not trying to answer directly. She's trying to figure out how she can weave her way out of not being direct, I guess. And maybe outing Tory out. She has no incentive to look out for Meg because she's going to lose her job anyways. She looks out for Tory that she could possibly hook up with him more and work with him, and he will still owe her. And I think because of all the internet hate that Megan was getting, I felt like Kelsey was like, oh God, I don't want to deal with that crap. I don't know. That's what I'm thinking. Kelsey says that's not the exact wording. He mentioned the million, but again, it's a blur. Prosecutor asked Kelsey. She previously said that Tory offered her favors for not talking. And Kelsey says, again, I said a few things in our interview. Prosecutor began her exam by asking Kelsey how she was feeling about in court. Kelsey says, I don't care to be here today, ... I mean, it's a trigger, situation. Asking what was triggering for her, Kelsey said, anxiety, postpartum, currently dealing with a death. I just don't want to be here. I mean, this has happened in the face of 1 million people, she continued. She cited lies from Megan. She said she felt betrayed. Prosecutor asked early on about the claim at the core of Tory's defense that it was Harris, Kelsey, who fired the bullets that left fragments in Megan's feet, the one that was operated on by a surgeon. Kelsey said that she's heard the accusation that it wasn't Lanez, but her who shot Megan, and said, I mean, it's ridiculous. She identified Tory in the defense table by saying he has an all-black turtleneck suit. She said she first met him at a Rock Nation music label brunch earlier in 2020, and later, me and Tory kind of had some communication. We had a few nights, when we were engaged, Kelsey said. Prosecutor also asked her what she meant by engage. Kelsey says, more than a friendship. Prosecutor asked her about her relationship with Tory changing after she went to Texas, confirming with Harris that they were both there, and Kelsey answering, I don't know where she's been from, Baxter County. I'm from Victoria, Texas. She recently caught COVID while back in Houston, and as she was gone, Megan's relationship with Tory developed. So Kelsey is saying that she and Tory met back in 2020. They had a thing, and it wasn't until 2022 that when Kelsey was sick, she had COVID. She went back to Houston. This was when Megan and Tory decided to have Megan and Tory's mom both passed away, and they were having a relationship, I guess, behind Kelsey's back. The prosecutor asked, did they get closer? Kelsey says, yes, ma'am. Kelsey had her own place in Houston, funded by herself, but Megan told her she was buying a new home and that she could get rid of her stuff because she was buying everything new. Kelsey returned to Los Angeles to stay with Megan, or Meg, as is what she called her, and then went to the reality star Kylie Jenner's home for what she repeatedly told Todd was not a party. So I thought it was really weird that she was insisting that it was not a party. It seems like she kept correcting the prosecutor, again, maybe because she didn't want to get criticism for, I don't know. Maybe she didn't want to get Kylie Jenner in trouble for having a party during the pandemic. Kelsey also says, I also want to be very clear. It wasn't a party, just a few people hanging out. She reminded the prosecutor of this several times as the prosecutor tried to remember to call it a gathering. She said that Megan wanted to make nachos for everyone while 3 or 4 people were outside enjoying themselves. Kelsey says, we were all playing beer pong, just kind of having a great time. Kelsey said that Megan walked outside and said, y'all having fun without me. And the others told her to join them. Kelsey says, I don't know what happened with the food. I guess everyone just forgot about it. The group continued doing what everyone else would do, enjoying themselves, swimming in the pool. Kelsey said that she went and passed out at some point because I'd had a lot of alcohol. And when she woke up, Megan was drunk and seemed a little off. Kelsey says, doing this laughing just obnoxiously. Kelsey said that Megan's demeanor was off. She doesn't want to be here. Prosecutor asked, what was Tory doing? Kelsey answers, just being Tory, flirting. Kelsey said that she told Megan, your appearance isn't together, let's go. Megan wanted Tory to leave with her and was still laughing her obnoxious laugh, Kelsey said, when she went outside where Tory was. As established by prosecutors and in Megan's testimony, Tory was in the pool with Kylie Jenner. Apparently, a fight or argument happened, Kelsey testified. I wasn't there, so I don't know. Megan soon returned inside and asked Kelsey, Megan soon returned inside and Kelsey asking the prosecutor, I'm sorry, can I cuss? And recounted what Megan said after the prosecutor affirmed that profanity in court is fine. Kelsey says, she's like, B, you got to get the F out. We got to get the F out. The 3 left in an Escalade driven by Tory's driver, Jaquan Smith, and Megan is just rambling. Prosecutor's like, about what? Kelsey says, so many things. Kelsey said there was so much stuff going back and forth, calling between me, Megan, Tory. They were all just going back and forth about artistry, I guess, she said. We're all taking jabs at each other. So at this point, they're all leaving the house right now, Kylie Jenner's house, and they're all starting to fight in the car. Kelsey appeared reluctant to implicate Tory on anything, including whether he called Megan bitches and hoes, while prosecutor reminded her that she said this during her September interview. Kelsey says, again, we're calling each other names, so yes, ma'am. Prosecutor said a few times that, Kelsey, when you talked to us in September, it wasn't a blur. Kelsey answered no when asked if she shot Megan. But when asked if who did it, she said, again, I was getting out of the car and did not see what happened. I don't know. So how... She was getting out of the car. Why would she be getting out of the car why would she be getting out of the car? Because I would think that she would be getting out of the car when her friend was being shot at and she wanted to check to see if her foot was okay. But I guess it is also possible that when her friend exited the vehicle, she had got out of the car to go chase after her friend, and then that's when the shots happened. Possible. or changing her story. Regarding Kelsey invoking the fifth and then being granted immunity, judges don't allow fifth pleas, no question asked. The judge had to discuss it with her this morning, but we're not going to find out what happens because it's not going to be public. One thing I really want to know more about is why the judge allowed Kelsey to plead the fifth. Judges have to determine if a person is actually facing possible criminal consequences. Perjury doesn't count. The immunity the DA's granted Kelsey doesn't cover that. So again, she's allowed to go up there on the stand, tell the truth, and not face any criminal consequences because the prosecutors already said that they weren't going to prosecute her for anything. However, if you do perjure on the stand, you could still get in trouble for that. Although, the likelihood of someone getting prosecuted for, someone getting charged with perjury is from what I've heard, pretty low. The prosecutor underscored the lack of real criminal consequences for Kelsey over the shooting by incorporating it into her questioning, pressing Kelsey about who she's trying to protect and why she was worried about incriminating herself. In addition to pushing a witness doesn't seem to have much to offer, the prosecutor is showing a lot of why the judges wouldn't have allowed Kelsey to plead the fifth. The prosecutors obviously have zero interest in any sort of criminal charges against her. There could have been a legit legal reason for Kelsey's fifth plea that was discussed with the judge in the morning. But given the prosecutor's questioning that implied Kelsey has no reason for fear incriminating herself, I'm very curious what that reason could be. Kelsey's fifth plea didn't affect her testimony because the DA gave her immunity to testify, but it all struck me as unnecessary given the trash coverage of this trial. Any talk of pleading the fifth and getting immunity is going to cause a crap storm of malicious speculation. Yeah, because I think when people heard about this and only read the headline, they're like, oh, Kelsey did it. She did it. Regarding what Kelsey said about the alleged $1 million bribe from Tory, it's a bit nuanced. The prosecutor asked her, Kelsey, at some point, did Tory try to bribe you? Kelsey said, pause for 20 seconds, not just me. All right, was there anything else here that I wanted to read? Oh yeah, by the way, these court sketches are so good. We should take a look at it really quick. It's an artist who attended the trial. So this is her sketch of Meg. This is Tory. This is Meg right here. Oh, we got the pictures back there. This is Meg again with the foot. This is Tory's lawyer with Meg on the stand. And then this right here is Kelsey. Just so you can have because we're basically telling a story right now, but just so you can see what everyone looked like. So this is Kelsey on the stand, hair up in a bun. Got little frillies hanging out. This is the prosecutor asking her questions right now. I guess the judge looks kind of annoyed there. Is that Tory Lanez right there? Looks a little bit worried. This is Kelsey with maybe her husband and maybe Tory right there. And this is for a different trial. All right, we'll get back to this one. So now we are December 15th. So this is going to be day 4. Oh man. Okay, this is gonna be day 4. So we start with witness number 6, Dr. Haruno. This is a doctor that I think was a doctor that did surgery on Meg's foot. One of her foot required surgery. It was about an hour long. She was hospitalized overnight. They also had the x-ray of Megan's feet with the bullet fragments inside. And again, afterwards, Kelsey Harris gets back on the stand. The surgeon was an assistant to the chief surgeon. In charge of operating Megan's foot after she was shot. His name is Lee Haruno. After he got off the stand, I heard someone behind me whisper that Dr. Haruno is a walking dictionary. So this is at Cedars-Sinai. I think the best hospital in LA. Or I don't know if it's in the country, but in LA. The prosecutor's been questioning Kelsey by asking her about her granted immunity for testimony, emphasizing that immunity does not cover perjury. So don't be lying on the stand. As in, if Kelsey lies on the stand in Tory's trial, she can be charged. Prosecutor, you don't have immunity to perjure yourself on the stand. Kelsey, yes, ma'am. Prosecutor then asked if Megan was shot that night. Kelsey testified, again, her team told me she stepped on glass. Her team told me she stepped on glass. Why would she be relying on what the team told her if she was there? Prosecutor said that even before Kelsey herself had said that Meg was shot, she texted about it moments after it happened. That's right. She had texted Megan's bodyguard. She texted, help. Tory shot Meg. Kelsey testified, that's my assumption. She said that she did hear gunshots that night, but she denied seeing Megan limping. And you guys saw the video where they were all being arrested and Megan was clearly limping and she had blood coming out of her feet. The prosecutor also asked Kelsey about denying yesterday that Tory had tried to bribe her, which is really nuanced testimony. Overall, she did say that Tory said to her about $1 million, and the case was not trying to bribe her. Tory's lawyer, George Magdesian, asked Kelsey in his cross-examination if she's had any contact with Tory or felt like his lawyers or his lawyers or felt intimidated in any way. Kelsey said no. The lawyer asked, has my client paid you anything? Kelsey answered, no. Hi, Sam. How are you doing today? Happy 2023. Hello. Kelsey added, I would actually like to make that very clear, and I've seen some things from Meg's attorney, and I'm tired of that line, so no. A lot of Tory's lawyers' questions were about Kelsey's recorded interview with the prosecutors in September. It was mentioned in the prosecutor's questioning that Kelsey's husband attended the meeting with her to support her. Magdesian asked, your goal is to incriminate my client and keep yourself out of it? Kelsey answered, no. Are you afraid of my client, Tory Lanez, Mr. Daystar Peterson? Kelsey answered, no. Jurors have heard a lot of Kelsey's recorded interview with prosecutors in September, but the judge also told them yesterday the interview is not evidence. The prosecutors are just playing it to refresh Kelsey's memory. Some of the evidence they will have in the jury room with deliberations include text messages Kelsey sent moments after the shooting, Tory shot Meg, and the recorded apologetic call Tory made to Kelsey from jail hours after the shooting. Other evidence includes Tory's apologetic text to Meg that night. He doesn't mention a shooting or a gun, police body, and helicopter footage from when the LAPD officers pulled them over at gunpoint and a video of Meg in the ambulance. There's also 911 calls from neighbors reporting gunfire and the surveillance videos from a nearby home that includes audio of the gunfire, photos of Meg's wounded feet that has been entered as evidence, and the jurors saw x-ray images during the surgeon's testimony. One big thing in the morning is that Judge Harryford ruled that Tory's lawyer can't ask LAPD detective Ryan Stoger about the fact that he's on administrative leave. Again, this is the lead detective and he is no longer with LAPD right now. They don't know the exact reason why, but Tory's lawyer said it was because he was dismissed for some sort of domestic violence or something like that. But we don't know if that's true or not. About the fact that he's on admin leave or anything about him being arrested on suspicion of DV, Tory's lawyer argued against this. Tory's lawyer will be allowed to question Stoger about the investigation and ask everything he wants to ask to try to establish Stoger did a shoddy job and rush to charge Tory. But Tory's lawyer said the fact that also Stoger is currently on leave from LAPD is also hugely relevant. His credibility in this case is important, Tory's lawyer said. In my opinion, there's more to it. Magdesian also said nobody's put on leave for misdemeanor conduct that prosecutors didn't want to charge, but the judge reiterated that Stoger's DV arrest and administrative leave will be off limits. So remember, again, Tory's defense team at this point is saying that Kelsey did it. But I guess they do have a screenshot on Instagram where people, I don't know how long ago this was, but maybe there was this screenshot right here. I mean, is this in evidence? That's not true, replied by Tory Lanez's Instagram account. People made to the people saying Kelsey shot her. Comment on the Shade Room's account. This is evidence for the jury. So they're saying that someone says, people saying Kelsey shot her, crying face. And then this is Tory Lanez's Instagram account with a check mark saying that's not true. But, we don't know if Tory Lanez actually wrote that out or not. But, I mean, it's his Instagram account, I guess. So on day 16, 2022, day 5. All right. So we're on the day 5 right now, December 16, about, 2 weeks away from Christmas holiday break. And again, they're trying to get this trial to be wrapped up quickly because, they don't want the jury to have to come back after the holiday break. So at this point, because Tory's lawyers went pretty ham at Kelsey about the September interview, I think he was trying to infer that the prosecutors were, possibly putting pressure for her to lie about Tory, for her to say things that weren't true. And so because of this, the prosecutors were like, hey, this is some crap. And so the judge is going to allow the entire interview recording to be played for the court so they can see whether or not they think that Kelsey was being, intimidated or forced to in any way. And I think based off what the reporters have said, when they saw the recording, she just looks really chill, really relaxed, and very open. So this is going to go against what Tory's lawyer was saying about, her being pressured by the prosecutors. We're on a 90-minute break. The recording of Kelsey's nearly finished. We will hear the end of it when we return. The recording is all Kelsey talking comfortably about what happened, with the prosecutors asking questions. We haven't heard any kind of pressure yet. Kelsey tells prosecutors about Tory saying something about Meg. Man, I wonder if I hope someone gets a hold of this 90-minute recording so we can see for ourselves. Kelsey tells prosecutors about Tory saying something about Meg needing to tell her truth and that Kelsey was confused. She tells prosecutors that Meg said something like, "Kelsey, don't listen. They trying to make you mad." Next thing you know, the argument began with Tory and Meg. Again, this is during the September 11 interview. Tory called Meg B's and H's, and Kelsey told prosecutors, "I stepped in and I said, you're not going to talk to my friend like that." Kelsey also told prosecutors, "Honestly, when I argue, I kind of just say things that are hurtful too." She talked about Tory threatening to shoot her, saying that she told him, "If you shoot me, you shoot me. I guess it's my time to go." Then the argument turned to artistry. Kelsey said Meg said that the only reason Tory is famous is because he did a remix with Jack Harlow. Tory is dissing Meg. I can't remember what he was telling her, but they start hitting each other with their career as an artist. Kelsey describes Meg getting out of the Escalade, and she describes Tory shooting in detail. She says that she turned at the sound of the second or third gunshot and saw Tory on the right front passenger side, shooting over the door. Now, it is a little bit confusing, though, because from what we gathered before, it was Megan sitting in the front seat, there's a driver, and then Kelsey and Tory sitting in the back seat. So I think what a lot of people are wondering is how did Tory end up in the front seat? Did he get out of the car, go around to the front where the open door was where Meg had left the Escalade and decide to shoot behind the door, over it? That's kind of a very awkward positioning. Or did he wiggle and worm his way through the middle console and then out the front and decide to shoot out of the front passenger door? I don't know. That to me is really confusing. And I thought it was really interesting how I felt the reporters didn't really talk about that. How the hell did he end up in the front? How did he get there? Asked if it was in Meg's direction, Kelsey said, "Definitely in her direction. Yeah, definitely in her direction." She described her fearing her life as Tory pulled her hair and neck because it was really hard. Kelsey's doing all the talking, and the DA is barely saying anything. Oh, let's go back to Neek at Night. So again, shout out to Neek at Night for getting the audio Kelsey describing the altercation that she says happened with her and Tory after the Meg situation. So again, we have pictures here of Kelsey with bruises. Now, people on the internet think that these could be bruises from Meg when her and Kelsey, people think that her and Meg were fighting physically. But, it seems based on what Kelsey's saying in the September interview was between her and Tory. And here are some bruises on her legs. And I guess she's got maybe some chunks of hair, maybe missing or something. That's what people were saying too. That oh, did he climb out there to get the gun out of the glove box? But that is possible that the gun was possibly in the glove box. And maybe he because he's the guy is 5'3", I think. It goes back and forth between him being 5'1" or 5'3". But I think when they booked him, they said that he was 5'3". So it's possible that he's a small dude. He wiggled his way through the middle and grabbed the gun. Or to me, I think that's more probable than him actually, because Escalades are very big, cushy, and there's a lot of space in there. So I think for him to get out of the back seat, go around to the front seat, and grab the gun in the glove box, that's kind of weird. I could see him just wiggling through and then grabbing the gun and then opening the door and then going over the front door to shoot at them. I think that's what happened. But I feel they need to establish that clearly though, because we need to know how it happened if he was sitting in the back seat.
The driveway with Megan. Quan is holding me. Like I said, he's big. He just picked me up and said, "They do this all the time, Kelsey." And I said, "Huh?"
Jaquan is the driver, by the way. And we saw the pictures of the rest. He looks like a pretty big dude.
No, she's bleeding. She's been shot, to my knowledge. And so
right there, she's saying that oh, she's been shot to my knowledge. Nothing about the oh yeah, she was stepping on glass.
I'm still in defense mode. I'm still in,
night exclusive.
I gotta protect her. Yeah. So I look up and I see the vehicle is in the middle of the road and it's on. The door is open. So my initial reaction is to cause a distraction, and I jumped into the vehicle and I threw it in jerk. and it worked.
What does that mean?
I just like jerked it, made it move,
Okay.
made it like move just to get him away from Megan. Because in my head, I'm thinking he's over here gonna just attack.
So you got in the driver's seat of the car and moved it.
And I made it jerk.
Okay.
I didn't even move it. It didn't even drive or anything. I just made it jerk.
Okay.
And so when I did that, it did exactly what I needed it to do, get Tory away from Megan. And so I don't know how he got to the vehicle. I don't know if he ran or walked, but he got to me really quick. And that's when he started pulling me by my hair. He was pulling me by my hair really hard. And again, I wasn't afraid for my life when the incident was going on with Megan. I was in defense mode. But then I became afraid for my life when he started like pulling my hair and my neck because it was really, really hard. That's when the necklace.
When you said he pulled on your neck, what do you mean?
Like he was like almost like, I didn't lose my breath, so I wouldn't say choking, but he was pulling my neck and my hair. And then so here comes Quan again. Quan he's in between us, but Tory has a good grip. He's not letting go. So it's kind of like tug of war at this point with my head and body, and I'm scared. And I kind of dumb myself down just to.
So weird though. Like, why are they all like going after and attacking her? Like, she was just trying to go and like help her friend.
Get him to let me go, and I said, Tory, what are we doing? What are we doing? And when I said that, he released. He let go. And so now Megan is standing. We're all standing at the front driver door. Did you see how he's in the drive?
Panic, right? See, like situations like that, you can kind of tell I don't know, man. You can kind of tell what a shitty person, like, or people, like maybe the two of them are. Like, instead of like helping the persons that hurt or helping the person that you hurt, it's like you go into self-preservation mode and only think about yourself. Like, I don't know, man. That's like crap to me. Okay, by the way, we found the YouTube channel, by the way. So it is on her YouTube channel, and this is here. I'm going to put in the chat below so you guys can check it out if you guys want to. This is Neek at Night. This is her YouTube channel, and this is the one you guys were telling me about, right? The jail call. Oh, man. Let's listen to the jail call, and let's see what we think. Maybe we'll change our mind.
Tory?
An inmate at LAPD jail. This call is subject to recording and monitoring. Press 1 to accept the call. To deny this call...
Oh, I just noticed her microphone is like glittery. What kind of microphone is that? How do I get that?
Hello?
Hey.
Y'all got out.
Oh, it's really low. Let me turn it up more. Hold on a second.
Hello?
Hey.
Y'all got out safely.
Nick at Night exclusive.
Oh, he says y'all got out safely. Okay.
Huh?
Y'all got out. You know, you think y'all good?
Megan's still in the hospital. I'm outside the hospital.
What hospital y'all at?
About what?
You said what?
I said Megan's in the hospital still. I'm outside the hospital waiting.
Nick at Night
What hospital are you
exclusive.
at?
I don't know. Let me see. Cedar, something like that. Cedar.
Bro.
Sure.
Regardless, I know she
Nick
probably
at
never
Night
ever gonna talk to me
exclusive.
ever again, but bruh, I just want you to know, bruh.
You say I understand you don't want to talk to me again?
Again, but
Sure.
regardless, I know she
Nick
probably
at
never
Night
ever gonna talk to me
exclusive.
ever again, but bruh, I just want you to know, bruh. Nigga, I was just so fucking drunk, nigga. I didn't even know what the fuck
Nick
was
at
going
Night
on, bro.
exclusive.
I didn't know what the fuck was going on, bro. Like that, I'd never do some shit like that, bro. Just that the nigga that's so drunk, nigga, just didn't even understand what the fuck was going on, bro. Like,
I don't know, man. This doesn't sound good. To me, it doesn't sound like he's saying, bro, I was so drunk. There's no way that I would have told her that, I would have told you that, like that I was like messing with the both of you guys. Like, that's something I would never say, that I was drunk. Like, oh my God. Like, no, it's more like, man, I was so drunk. Like, there's no way I would have done like the shooting if I wasn't so drunk. Like, I don't know. That makes more sense to me than him like saying that like, oh, I was drunk and there's no way I would have told the both of you guys I was sleeping with the both of you or something like that.
so whatever.
Like, I do believe that he didn't mean to hurt her. I do believe that in the height of the moment when she dissed his career, and then like, you know, I do know like some people that are short that do have like a kind of like a complex, you know, issue going on with their self-esteem and stuff like that. So maybe like he was like really butthurt, you know, and he wasn't thinking the moment, and he just wanted to just threaten her with a gun just by shooting it at her foot. I don't think he was trying to hurt her. I don't think he was trying to kill her. But the fact that he still did it, like, you don't play around with the guns. Like, that's just stupid.
But,
Nika
you know,
Night exclusive.
regardless, that's not gonna make anything right, and that's not gonna make my actions right, bro. But I'm just deeply sorry, bro. I never even moved like that, bro. Like, never
Nika
moved like
Night
that at all, bro.
exclusive.
Like, for real, dog.
I know there's a lot that happens, but
A whole lot, bro.
Yeah, and I guess like compared to Meg, he's like considered like a small dude, and maybe he couldn't like physically, he didn't think that he would be able to physically like overcome her by hitting her and stuff like that, because she probably would have like attacked him back. So that's why he decided to use a gun just to like, you know, fuck with her.
A whole lot, bro. I feel crazy, bro. But in this day, like, what happened already, bro. I
Nika
can't take
Night
it back, bro.
exclusive.
I'm just telling y'all, I'm sorry, bro. Like, thing was just
Nika
too
Night
young, bro.
exclusive.
You know what I'm saying? When I got to the house, shorty, like, all top niggas, they gave me like 5 shots, like, off the door, like, you feel me? So I was out of there, like, wasn't even there with niggas, like, you feel me? We was taking shots past that time. I wasn't even there with niggas,
Like, I get it, you're trying to blame alcohol, and I get it that, like, you know, you got to Kylie's house, they gave you like 5 shots, you drank it, but like, dude, when people get drunk, they don't just like shoot at people's feet, man.
bro. I don't even remember
Nika
what we was
Night
even arguing about,
exclusive.
bro. Like, feel me? Like,
yeah, no, I don't.
But here's the thing too, though, right? So let's say he was really drunk. He didn't know what he was doing. He was being really dumb. He's also being judged for what happened afterwards. Well, did he come out? Did he like confess? Or did he end up doubling down and going after Meg and going after, you know, her and her friend, and like, you know, trying to say that she's lying and trying to get the internet and the public to like, you know, to back him up and stuff like that. So it's also stuff that happened afterwards. Like, I think it's like, if he did it while he was drunk, he said it was sorry, you know, you can move on. But I do get it that, you know, for him, the stakes were high and he had to double, triple down, because here's what would happen, right? He would get deported back to Canada. He probably wouldn't be able to perform in the US anymore. He probably has like a tour going on. US are like huge consumers of like hip hop music and stuff like that. And he was probably like, damn, like my career would literally be over. So at this point, even though he done effed up, he was choosing his career over the truth. And he decided to have this other woman, you know, have Meg, the stallion, be dragged down just so he can preserve himself. But like, at the end of it, like, it's your damn fault, right? If you're the one who was really drunk, if you're the one who shot at her foot, like, you're the one who pulled out the gun, you're the one who fired the shots. And it's not like you fired one shot, you fired the whole damn thing. There was like 5 rounds in there. You fired all 5 bullets right at her foot. So you messed up. And, you know, you're gonna have to suffer from the consequences of that. And it's you know, it's unfortunate, because I believe him when he's sorry. I believe him when, you know, I believe that he didn't mean to hurt her, but he still messed up, man. He was still trying to preserve himself afterwards and trying to get her dragged and all this stuff. So yeah. Do you think he paid Drake for that line? Oh, I don't know. If I had a dime for every time me and my friends just got annoyed, we just shot each other's foot. All right. And then, by the way, guys, shout out to Nika Night for getting like all these. There's other stuff that she got too. I haven't even listened to it yet.
I was already fucked up by the time you got there, so I don't know how much.
it's like, you know, but tell me what
Nika Night exclusive.
what hospital she's in.
I just told you, Cedar.
Yeah, and Kelsey sounds really effing annoyed. She's like, why are you calling me? Like, I don't know, man. She sounds annoyed as heck. She doesn't sound like, honestly, if we're going to go by with what Tory's defense team is saying, they're saying that like, oh, Tory was the one who was, you know, there, and Kelsey's the one who was like, you know, shooting shots at Meg and stuff like that. Like, I think the communication between the two of them would be very different. You know, Kelsey wouldn't sound this annoyed. Kelsey wouldn't sound this dismissive. Kelsey would probably be in her own self-preservation mode and try to make sure that Tory isn't going to snitch on her and try to make sure they have their story straight, you know? But like, it would not be directly because obviously there's a recorded call and I'm sure Kelsey's like a lot smarter than maybe Tory in this situation. But like, dude, I don't know, man. This doesn't sound like, I had some doubts at sometimes. Like, I was like, oh, maybe it was Kelsey. Like, why is she pleading the fifth? Or like, why is she scared of like incriminating herself? Maybe it was her. But I don't know, man. Now that I'm listening to this like jail call, it doesn't sound like she did it.
Medical.
All right. You ain't got Corn's number, right? You ain't got my security number.
Quan, I do have his number.
Can you call this nigga Corn and tell this nigga, bruh?
Oh, so maybe now he wants to call the driver to make sure that he can get the driver to get the story straight or something. I think that's who's talking about, Jaquan Smith.
You get a chance, but just figure out what you got to do to bail me out this shit.
Okay.
Figure out what you have to do to bail me out of this shit. Okay.
Thank you, bro. I appreciate it. I'm sorry again, bro. Like,
Nika,
I think honestly, I think we're gonna try to, because obviously, like the longer you're in there, the more hot it's gonna get, because you know it's already on. Like,
yeah. So I think they don't want. I mean, they're young, by the way, at this point. Like, she's like 24, Megan's 24, he's like 27, which is definitely old enough to know better. But I think, like, still maybe like of a young mindset where, like, they probably thought this can go low under the radar and maybe, like, the news wouldn't catch it, like, you know, get wind of it, or TMZ and stuff like that. Maybe they just thought, okay, let's hurry up and get Tory out of jail. Meg's already saying that she stepped on glass. We're good. No one's going to catch wind of the story. But, you know, I think they were just being very, very, very naive.
there's no names released yet, but the report is already out. You know.
Yeah, he's 30 now.
What you mean out?
He was 27. He was 27 when this happened.
You know, Megan's team is on top of this. So,
yeah, but like, can't no. There's no way that Megan's on like the thing.
No, what'd you say?
There's no way that Megan's like on the thing.
No. So far, none of that is there. But I mean,
yeah, I don't think it's gonna be one of those. If anything, the only nigga that's gonna get this backlash is me. It's not gonna be her. But
yeah,
but
I'll let you know.
all right.
Oh, but it is interesting that he did say that, though. He said the only person that's going to get backlash for this is me, not her. So it kind of implies that he also thinks that she also did some wrong as well. Maybe it's just like a physical altercation thing. Maybe they were involved in it, like all three of them, like physically fighting each other. I don't know, maybe.
It is what it is. Regardless if I get out of here today or not, bro, I just want to let y'all know, bro. I'm sorry, bro. Like, I never did that shit if I wasn't that drunk, bro. Like, you feel me?
Tory, man, you self-snitching right now. Do you not watch Bruce Rivers' videos? You would know that you should be self-snitching.
You have 1 minute remaining for this call.
That doesn't look good. I don't know, man. It don't look good. It does not look good for Tory. All right. So someone said that she had other stuff that she posted it on her YouTube as well. Okay, so paramedic. Wait, why is... Oh, because I was like, wait, paramedics be wearing body cams now? No, the police is riding in the ambulance with her, probably trying to get some information. Yeah, smart. You gotta put your watermark on there. She's crying. I do want to know, though, and it's probably on the police reports, I want to know how drunk were the 3 or 4 of them. Actually, I think the driver stayed in the car the entire time and probably didn't partake in drinking. I don't know. But I want to know how drunk the 3 of them were.
Start looking for casings, partner. And what's your gun?
Oh, I think they're back at their original driveway where the shooting happened.
Hey guys.
Building search.
Hey,
649,
Cecil.
the plate was 8 John Ocean Union 580.
580, the last three?
Yeah.
Hey
The
guys,
witness testimonies.
come back over here. Shooting happened over here.
These all just police body cam stuff.
Hey, here's some jewelry right here too. So, right here.
Yeah, so I think they found
Is it blood?
Kelsey's
Okay,
chain, her pendant, and one of her nail ripped off.
it's okay. So the trail goes like this all the way around, comes back, and then you have the fight.
So I think in Meg's testimony, I think she mentioned that when she had been shot, when she never confirmed that when Kelsey, the driver, and Tory, when they came towards her, she didn't confirm that they were like in an altercation or fighting. She just said they looked like they just like bumped into each other. But right here, it's like this actually would corroborate with Kelsey's original story more, with like her saying that like, oh, you know, the driver was holding her back, or that like Tory was grabbing at her neck, grabbing at her hair, because her fucking jewelry fell off and one of her nail fell off too. So it's like, why would her crap be all over the street and stuff like that if she also wasn't being attacked? So I think maybe Meg at this point was maybe really drunk and maybe didn't see, or maybe she was in shock that she had, you know, gotten shot, and maybe she was in so much pain. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't know what the explanation is. We can only like, you know, make it with assumptions, stuff like that. But I mean, I think this follows more with what Kelsey was saying initially, not when she was on the stand, but initially when she was saying that like, you know, like Tory like attacked her. And they were like in some sort of like physical altercation.
Casings, 4 casings. But partner, where are your FIs? Like I told you, go put an FI on top of everything. One, and then 2, and then 3 right here.
Oh, good eye. Cool. Any hits at the car?
Yes, somebody's injured.
No, I mean like.
Oh no, here no. That's what we need to find out.
Yeah. Look, there's blood right here.
Yeah, and there's blood here, and it goes all the way up to here. Look.
Sound effects. Yeah, so she gets shot in the foot and she starts hobbling up the driveway and like crawling, I think. I'm surprised there's no like outdoor nest cams or something, especially when you're like in the Hollywood Hills with all the robberies that's been happening.
So let me pull it up on the screen.
Wait. Is it me or these? I thought it was gonna be like bam, 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 bam. It was like slow, like done. Isn't it? Do you guys think it's weird? I thought it was gonna be like him just like sporadically shooting like da 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 da, but it was like it sounded like it was intentional. Like, let me try to aim at your foot or something.
Scream.
There was like a pause too. 1, 2, 3, pause, 4, 5. Because I wanted to know what the pause. Okay, I wanted to know if there were any interruptions between the gunshots, because, you know, we wanted to make sure that the defense's theory that, oh, Kelsey did it. It's like, okay, well, did Kelsey have the gun in her hand? Maybe she shot a couple times and then she handed it to Tory. Maybe he shot a couple times. But I don't know if that pause between the third and the fourth shot is enough to hand the gun off to someone else and still try to aim at their feet. Yeah, I don't think it's enough time to hand the gun off to someone to have them continue shooting. And also, I'm assuming that the lights were turned on at this house because, like, it's like 4:20 a.m. Maybe the lights were turned on because they heard like someone yelling and all that arguing going on. Oh, to reset your aim, then shoot again. Yeah, I don't know, man. Them saying that Kelsey did it, I don't know. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. I try to give him benefit of the doubt, but I don't know, man. It's looking bad for him.
I can't tell you guys where Tory pulled the gun from. Like I said, the motion when he first threatened me was middle console, but I don't know if that's where the gun was.
But you had said he referenced like shooting y'all earlier while you're in the car, right?
He threatened to shoot me.
As if he had a gun in his control.
By the way, this is not Kelsey during the trial. This is Kelsey during the September interview with the prosecutor. The one where the detective wasn't present.
Somewhere.
Correct.
Okay.
And so after the shots rang, it was, like I said, 5 shots. We kind of froze. And by the time I get back into, like, I snapped, Megan had either crawled or walked or limped over to, she's in a driveway. She's in a driveway on the side of the driver's side. She's in a driveway. Tory sits down.
In the front passenger seat?
In the front passenger seat. He's sitting. I guess just kind of shocked also. So I run over to her. I immediately ran to her. She's the forefront of my thoughts. My job as a friend in general is just like naturally is to protect my friend, protect. So now I'm in defense mode on the behalf of Megan. I ran to her. She's on the floor. I never looked at her feet. I never really just got to look at her. I just know when I ran to her and she grabbed me, she had blood. So in my head, she had got shot because shots just went off and she's bleeding. Yeah. That's what I think. So I see Tory coming around the vehicle. It's dark, lights are flat, hitting him. It's almost like a scary scene. So again, I'm in defense mode. I see him coming around the vehicle, and in my head, I'm thinking he's about to come over here and attack us.
Do you see whether or not when he's coming around the vehicle, if he still has the gun?
I don't believe he had the gun.
Okay.
So like I said, I just thought he was coming over to attack us. So I stepped in between where he was coming to where Megan was. And at that point, that's when the assault between me and him happened. He assaulted me. And Quan then he just comes and he picks me up like a little doll. And he's like, Kelsey, they do this all the time. And I said, huh? She's bleeding.
They do this all the time. This normal. What?
She's been shot. I don't know if y'all know she's shot. By that time, he's already to where Megan's at. So I don't know what goes on in that driveway.
Who comes towards Megan? Is that Quan or Tory?
So initially Tory comes, and that's where I stepped in, and we had an altercation. He physically assaulted me, and then Quan came and separated him from me.
What exactly did he do when he was assaulting you?
Remember? I mean, everything. My adrenaline was so high. I don't know if he was hitting me with a closed fist or slapping me. It was just a.
Yeah, she's like telling the story freely. It's not like, it's not like the prosecutor is asking her leading questions. So, did you see Tory leave the car and then start attacking Megan, and then Jaquan came around the other side and started grabbing you, and then you guys were attacking each other and blah, 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 blah. Like, she's like, okay, so what happened? And then she's like telling the whole story fluidly.
It was a physical altercation.
I don't know, man. Kelsey, I think Kelsey hates Meg right now. And Kelsey's like, you know what? F Meg.
Or slapping me. It was just it was a physical altercation.
Were you wearing a necklace that night?
I was, and I'm gonna go to that part too. Now Tory's in the driveway with Megan. Quan is holding me, like I said.
Oh, by the way, I love your profile picture, King Ragnar. I love that TV show. I hate the way it ended though, but I love the TV show.
He's big. He just picked me up and said, they do this all the time, Kelsey. And I said, huh? No, like she's bleeding. She's been shot.
Yeah. I don't get maybe she misheard, or maybe like Jaquan guy said something else. Like, not that they do this all the time, or I don't know, man. He mustn't, I don't know. That's a weird statement to make after someone gets shot, but okay.
My knowledge. And so I'm still in defense mode. I'm still in,
night exclusive.
I gotta protect her. Yeah. So I look up and I see the vehicle is in the middle of the road and it's on, the door is open. So my initial reaction is to cause a distraction. And I jumped into the vehicle and I threw it in jerk. And it worked.
What does that mean?
I just jerked it, made it move.
Wait, did she jerk the vehicle during the shooting or after? Hold on.
And I jumped into the vehicle and I gotta protect her. Yeah. So I look up and I see the vehicle is in the middle of the road and it's on, the door is open. So my initial reaction is to cause a distraction. And I jumped into the vehicle and I threw it in jerk. And it worked.
What does that mean?
Threw it in drive?
I just jerked it, made it move.
Okay.
Made it move just to get him away from Megan. Because in my head, I'm thinking he's over here gonna just attacked.
So you got in the driver's seat of the
I
car
did.
and moved it a
And
little
I jerked. I made it jerk.
Okay.
I didn't even move it. It didn't even drive or anything. I just made it jerk.
Okay.
And so when I did that, it did exactly what I needed it to do. Get
Nah, you good. Interrupt away. It's all good. I'm glad it works now.
Tory away from Megan. And so he either, I don't know how he got to the vehicle. I don't know if he ran or walked, but he got to me really quick. And that's when he started pulling me by my hair. He was pulling me by my hair really hard. And again, I wasn't afraid for my life when the incident was going on with Megan. I was in defense mode. But then I became afraid for my life when he started like pulling my hair and my neck because it was really, really hard. That's when the necklace.
When you said he pulled on your neck, what do you mean?
You know, like he was like almost like, I didn't lose my breath, so I wouldn't say choking, but he was pulling my neck and my hair. And then so here comes Quan again. Quan he's in between us, but Tory has a good grip. He's not letting go. So it's kind of like tug of war at this point with my head and body, and I'm scared. And I kind of dumb myself down just to.
Like, was Tory scared that Kelsey was going to drive off and get the cops or something? That's why he was trying to stop her and like pull on her hair and stuff?
Get him to let me go. And I said, Tory, what are we doing? What are we doing?
Yeah, she's like, I'm so confused. What's going on?
And when I said that,
I'm confused too.
He released. He let go. And so now Megan is standing. We're all standing at the front driver door.
Did you see how Megan got to the front driver door?
I can't tell. No, she just looked like hop, walk. I can't tell you, but she was there. She was standing at the front driver door, and Quan, they're just like, get in the car. We didn't like have a pushback about getting in the.
Yeah, because Kelsey did mention in trial that she was dealing with postpartum. So maybe she delivered a kid recently, was dealing with postpartum depression. She had a death recently and she was dealing with that. So maybe she was dealing with so much in her own personal life that she didn't want to have to publicly, well, when I say publicly, not like in front of cameras and stuff like that, but like, publicly in court, testify against Tory and have more vitriol and hate from the internet going after her, because that's something that she didn't want to deal with, maybe. And then maybe like her, incriminating herself, maybe she was the one that, when they're all arguing, maybe she was the one that egged on Tory to like, hey, shoot that, B word or something like that. I don't know. That's like, maybe that's what she did. Maybe like, I'm trying to think, how could she have incriminated herself? What did she do wrong in the situation, but not shoot Meg directly? Like, what did she do in that situation where she could be incriminating herself?
In the car, because we're in the middle of nowhere. At this point, we don't know what to do. Mm-hmm. We honestly didn't even think about calling 911 at this moment or anything. It was all a blur.
Now, did you have on long nails that night?
I did. My nails were broken off.
That was during your
with
fight
the
with
altercation with Tory,
Okay.
correct. So now we get in the vehicle. Quan gets back in the driver's side. Tory gets in the, now replaces Megan's seat. So he's in the front passenger. Megan gets in where I was sitting, which is now behind Tory. And now I'm behind Quan.
How is Megan looking at this point? Is she crying? Is she upset? Is she scared? Anything? Can you tell?
Did Meg corroborate with Kelsey's statements? We only have like very small little fragments of her testimony. Again, we don't have any audios or anything like that. So when Meg first went live and outed Tory, she said that Tory had shot through the backseat window. But again, it's possible that she misspoke, or maybe she was really drunk and she didn't actually really know where he shot through. And it wasn't until later on that she found out that he actually shot through the front door. So that part was like, kind of like iffy, because I was confused too. Like, how did he shoot? Did he shoot through the front window, back window, over the door? Like, how did this guy shoot, right? So there was that. Meg said that she heard dance beat, dance whatever. She got shot. She turned around. She didn't see Kelsey, but she saw Tory with a gun. Like, he never saw Tory shooting the gun, but he saw Tory with the gun, like, I guess, like, aiming it at her, right? But then in the trial, I think Meg clarified and said that, like, he had shot through over the front door. So it's possible that she may have learned that information afterwards, and she was like, oh, yeah, that probably is what happened. But she did say she never mentioned that there was a whole like altercation between Kelsey and Tory and the driver though. So like after Meg had been shot, Kelsey saying that like she's trying to run to Meg, and then like, you know, she fights with Tory, they get physical, the driver tries to separate them, and then, you know, Kelsey tries to go to the car and like jerk the car or whatever, and then like Tory's like pulling her. So I don't think she ever mentioned that, or at least it wasn't mentioned based off the reporters that were at trial that day. I don't know. But she said that like it looked like they bumped into each other. But again, at this point, her foot has been shot at and she was trying to crawl away. So she probably wasn't really looking back. She probably wasn't looking to see what's going on with the situation. She's probably just trying to GTFO and crawl away from the situation. But yeah, we don't have the transcripts or anything.
Megan I was screaming. I was tripping. I was having panic attacks. Megan honestly was very calm. And that's what made me think that they had a conversation in the driveway where I don't know, that's my assumption, but she wasn't in distraught. I was in distraught more than her, you know, and
sorry,
this upsets me.
It's okay.
No, it's okay.
You know, I can get tissue, or if you need a break, just let me know, okay? Let's see if I can get
Yeah.
I'll be right back.
Yeah.